Let me start with the time they were given. I think it's a slap on the wrist comparatively to America. It's a slap on the wrist. In fact, I think Christmas came early for them because without crime in the U.S., they're probably looking at a very football number, American football number, the number they write on their jersey, probably anywhere starting from maybe 10, 15, 20. That's probably what you'll be looking at. But it looks like the UK legal system or whatever is not really up to par with the American one. Well, they are lucky. They should be thanking God. They should be thanking their star that they live in the UK and the US. They will probably, in fact, Trump will probably send them back home and not even bother about spending money to, the American people's money to house them in a jail or in prison.
I understand that people jackpot for a reason, after they're over 40 or close to 50, but that still doesn't justify the fact that they should go ahead the crime and steal from the country that they're living in. It doesn't justify that bad attitude. I think people are just greedy. I think a little bit of it is greed, and they're trying to, keep up with the Joneses. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Y and E podcast. Thank you for joining us. And if you haven't subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button, like, share, and engage with us in the comments. So we're going all the way to the UK, and we're discussing the story of the Nigerian couple that is being accused of stealing to £650,000 of rebates from the government. They basically grabbed your coworkers' information, grabbed your personal data, and they used it to get some tax rebate. They funnel the money through different accounts, and they're in the process of being sent to 3 years in jail. And we're thinking about that crime and how horrible it is because you're taking away funds from people that are truly needing it, and then you're using it to gamble or to fulfill you know, your desire. And it's unfortunate. And if you also think about it, 3 years for that crime, I think it should be definitely more than 3 years. I can't imagine how much it would be if the crime had happened in the US. But this kind of crime happening in the UK, I don't think it's new. We've seen crimes being committed even in the US by immigrants, by people in the Nigerian community. But this is justified. They give you an opportunity to visit their country, to live in their country, and you're stealing the money that is spent to help other members of the communities. I actually believe that time they're going to do for the crime should be more than that, and they should also be made to return all the money. The judge was saying that it looks like they spent all the money. Well, if it were to be in the US, they won't care if you spend all the money. You still have to find a way to pay back all the money you've stolen, and also maybe with some penalty. So, what do you think about the crime and also the time that they're being given?
Let me start with the time they were given. I think it's a slap on the wrist comparatively to America. It's a slap on the wrist. In fact, I think Christmas came early for them because without crime in the US, they're probably looking at a very football number, American football number, the number they write on their jersey, probably anywhere starting from maybe 10, 15, 20. That's probably what you'll be looking at. But it looks like the UK legal system or whatever is not really up to par with the American one. Well, they are lucky. They should be thanking God. They should be thanking their star that they live in the UK and the US. They will probably, in fact, Trump will probably send them back home and not even bother about spending money to, the American people's money, to house them in a jail or in prison. Even if they were citizens, they will probably look for a way to collect their citizenship and just ship them back, so that they wouldn't have to spend money. I mean, most people, most immigrants, I don't know why, maybe because a lot of us actually come to, abroad, quote unquote, when we are very, very, up there in age, almost half of our lives. A lot of us come here almost at 40, 45. So there is this always constant rush to make it, always constant rush because you realize that time is no longer on your side. So you are ready to do anything to make it before your body or your biological clock start ticking. before you can no longer do it again. That is why during that scooter business, I can't remember the name again, the scooter business, a lot of people fell victim for it. A lot of people lost good money. In fact, one woman that works with my wife, she probably lost close to $60,000 on that because she was trying to get ahead. I mean, crime does not pay. If you are opportune to be in a system that relatively work, there is job for you to do. You can actually go out there and get a job. You know, I don't think it's okay to be defrauding people. And another, I will probably give advice. If you live in the US where tax, is very, very common where they fight tax, I would highly recommend that you go on YouTube and learn how to fight taxes, there are a lot of apps now. It's been simplified. There are a lot of apps that can, you don't really have to know anything about taxation to be able to file your tax. It's just fill in the gap. You just fill in whatever, and then the system, calculate the tax for you. Because that is where most people lose their information. Most people lose their identity, to a lot of these people, and you don't know what they do with your information. A lot of people, they use your information to collect credit cards. Sometimes they use it to do things like this. I would highly recommend, if you don't know how to file taxes, and just invest some time into it, watch some YouTube. You should be able to, to know how to do it. Because I've seen a lot of people every year, they change different people that they use to do their taxes. Each of those people, your information is crossing their desk, and then you never know. They probably save it on their computer. But your tax paperwork is on their computer. So you never know. You never know who they are selling your information to. You never would know what they are doing with your information. Just learn how to do your taxes. And if you in America, in the Canada, in the UK, I think the most honorable thing to do is to work, go and work, and then just stop thinking of defrauding people.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Because if you're taking your information to multiple places, you're exposing yourself to a higher risk of being hacked or getting your information out there into the dark web. And from the dark web, people can purchase your data and start a business on your name, get a credit card in your name, and put you in a lot of legal trouble. And yeah, be careful what you do with your information and how you put your information out there. And also going back to the issue of the couple in UK. I understand that people jackpot for a reason, after they're over 40 or close to 50, but that still doesn't justify the fact that they should go ahead the crime and steal from the country that they're living in. It doesn't justify that bad attitude. I think people are just greedy. I think a little bit of it is greed, and they're trying to keep up with the Joneses. The people that have been in the country for a very long time, maybe they have generational wealth, and they want to compare their own situation with each other. We have different races. We come from different backgrounds. You can't compare the families that have been living in a particular country for 8 generations to you that you're just coming, right? You know, life insurance gives people money in most places. That's one of the things we don't have in Nigeria. When you lose family member in Nigeria, they're gonna cost you money. In the US and other developed countries with life insurance, when you lose a family member, you smile to the bank. You cry a little bit, and then you smile to the bank to get some money. And at the end of the day, if you invest the money well, you're putting yourself ahead by maybe 10 or 20 years. If you're job buying and you're over 40, you're probably doing it for your kids because the system will not reward you for it. The system will want you to start from scratch unless you're very resourceful and you have a legit business and you're able to quickly build businesses, the legal way of doing it, or you're patient enough to go to college, understand the system, get a better job, that would also put you on a fast to make good money. People that are stuck in their own way, that only care about money to build homes back in their different countries and quickly try to go back and make quick money, they run into problems like this and they give other immigrants a bad image. And I believe that the system should have dealt with them better than that, and they should be made to return the funds back to the government. And I can't imagine the trouble they're going to put all those people that their information was stolen into. So it's gonna be bad for them as well, unless the system has a way to make the things right for them. And I'm sure if you were to be in the US, they will have to go through the court to get the information expunged from their records. So I just think if you're out there looking to make quick money, go through the legal way. It's hard to make a quick money. You have to spend time, invest time in either educating yourself or invest time in your business. That's a way to make a quick legal money. But if you're looking for a get quick rich syndrome or a get quick rich scheme, you're gonna get into a problem like this, and it's gonna be bad for you. It's gonna be bad for your family members. So don't do crime. Crime doesn't pay.
Yeah, I agree with you. Don't do crime. Crime doesn't pay. And I would think there will be a way. Maybe in the US, there will probably be a way to go to maybe if it has to do with Social Security, you could actually go to Social Security and they can issue you a new one, just to maybe protect you from further harm. I would think that this is why most people, I don't know, this is probably not exclusive to Nigerians, to Africans, or to immigrants. Maybe these other nationalities or other races are doing it. You will never know. Sometimes all of these things happen behind the scene, and then until somebody raises the dust or till somebody says something, nobody will know that anything is going on. In fact, it looked like there was a case that came out of I can't remember the state. It looks like Florida, where the woman was actually, it could have been school. No, it was a HOA. She was spending the money, the money from the HOA contribution, spending it on a lavish vacation, lavish lifestyle. And then at the end of the day, she was caught. So a lot of these things happen. It's not exclusive to just foreigners. Most times we don't just know about it. Most times some people feel, some people are not harmed to the level where they will raise dust. And but if you are an immigrant, please try as much as possible not to give a lot of other diasporans a bad rap. It's actually literally a bad reputation that you are putting us through. And I'm not exactly sure, but I would think that this could actually affect the rate at which they give immigrant visa, especially if you are from Nigeria. There will probably be some kind of coloration, some kind of bias, when you go to the embassy. All of this, I think it will count. I don't have experience in it, but I would think it will count. So if you want your loved ones and the people you love and your friends and family to come and meet you where you live in, I think you should learn an honest living and then just earn money legit, and then the door will be open. So let us know what you think about the issue that is coming out from UK, the husband and wife that basically defrauded the government about £650,000. And they will be happy to engage with you in the comment section.